Hello everyone. I'm gonna talk about taking inventory, and to be specific, taking inventory of your thoughts, um, and what it is exactly, and I guess what my interpretation of it is. I just wanted to talk about it. Wanted to talk about it, maybe ask some questions. I have about 5 points that I want to share that I simply just think about as it relates to taking inventory of my thoughts, of my thought process, my pattern of thinking, and just why it's important to do that. And I typically think of taking inventory as a business. Let's say you have a room, a back room, with items, with merchandise, or just things that you have to keep up with. You have to make a note that it's present. Typically, as far as I know, and I may not define it correctly, I may not describe it correctly. I've had many jobs, and I know how to take inventory. I know how to take stock. I know that when we're making note of, or we're taking record of particular items that are in a room, you basically, you make a list. It's an itemized list of the things that are there. They're normally, labeled, basically. And this is just so that we know what it is, and we know how to navigate through the room to actually get to it fastest. It's a lot less efficient to go to walk into a room. You don't know where everything is located. You have to look over things, under things, move things out of the way. So taking inventory is a way to section off, to organize, to just think clearly, within that room, warehouse, or whatever it is. A lot of warehouses also have numbers associated with whatever the name is. It may have a SKU number or anything like that, and it's normally in alphabetical order, numerical order, and it's just to help you find where it is. It may have a shelf, shelf 3, bay 14, or aisle A, aisle G, whatever. It's just a way to help locate where those items are. But if you're selling something, you make note of what was just sold, so that you know it's not there anymore. If someone requests something and you say, oh yeah, I got one of those, and you didn't make note that it's no longer in the warehouse, you may have a disappointed customer, because you go in the back, you check, and we don't have any more of those. But a lot of times, if we make a note of it, we update our records and everything daily or throughout the day within a warehouse setting, sort of a logistics based business. But this is really every business. Normally you keep a record of that throughout the day, probably even hourly, in real time as the transaction is being made. And I think as it relates to a business, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're a sole proprietor, or you have a team, it's a good practice to make note of, or to keep record of what's going in and what's coming out. When you get shipment, you make a note of what's being dropped off, what you're adding to your inventory, so that you can you basically have that item available again, and you can sell it. So a good way to maintain those records is taking stock, taking inventory. All right, so that's that piece. So now I want to move to, now that we got that part, what is it like in a mental or in a mental arena, as it pertains to your thoughts? Well, we have a series of things that happens throughout the day. We have what we might qualify as big things, and some events are small things, or small events, big events, small events. Excuse me as I'm trying to find the best words to talk about this. But anyway, there are some big events, we might call that more significant, that we remember a lot more. Like, we're not going to necessarily remember a paper clip on a table, or I mean, we may, it might be the one thing that, marks what, like how you remember a particular event. But let's say there's something that's a little more significant, like, maybe someone gives you a hug, and then after they give you a hug, you trip over the street curb or something like that. That's a little more significant than just seeing a paperclip on the table. All right, so that's like a simple event. Well, anyhow, it's much easier to record and remember the event where there was like emotion tied to that particular event. It basically helps you to remember. You can remember how things smelled. You can remember how different colors associated with that. I mean, your senses are an awesome way to record what actually happened and to remember it long term. So now that I've said all of that, definitely not certified to even prescribe any particular way to remedy what it is that I'm talking about. Okay, this is simply something that I want to share. Anyhow, can we throw away memories? That's just a question I have. Can you throw away a memory? Now, I know that there are different things that we do to cope with memories, and the thoughts that we have associated with a particular memory. Some of us, use drugs. Some of us do different things to kind of keep our mind off of a memory. And, that's one way. We all make sense of things in our own way. All right. One analogy that I would like to bring up in a similar sense of a warehouse or a room. Thinking of your thought arena as a room, okay, or a house. And if I were to think about it like that, let's just say each item that is in the room represents a thought or perhaps a memory, okay? Now, if it's useful, I'll say if it's useful, I could say, well, if I don't attend to these thoughts or memories, it could get pretty cluttered in here, and I can sort of begin to imagine a messy room, a room that is not cleaned, and that sort of turning into missteps. It could turn into making the same mistake over and over when we don't take inventory, when we don't take stock of what's actually there. Like, what things am I repeating, not knowing that I'm repeating them? I mean, I realize that some things we can do deliberately, but a lot of times thought patterns that we don't pay attention to can turn into the things that are happening that we maybe not the most proud of. So anyhow, that was one analogy that I wanted to share. Just your thought process or the way you think being an actual room, okay, and your thoughts and memories, things that you log into your mind being associated with just the way you think in general. It being a space, real estate, if you're thinking. I mean, that's pretty much what it is, to be honest with you. So can we just throw away memories? Can we, like in a room, can we go in this room, like if I want to go clean my room, man, I don't need this, I don't need this, I don't need this. Can I pick it up and throw it away? Well, I know I can in a physical room, but in a mental space, in a mental real estate space, it's like, the brain, or the mind rather, I don't think it's really built for you to just be able to throw thoughts away or throw memories away. That's just my piece. I don't have a way to really explain that. I don't want this to really be a long video. My next question or point is, can we organize thoughts? In the same way, you walk into a room, you may not throw anything away, but you you can organize it, meaning you can move things over, you can move this box onto this shelf, and at least this way you can get around, so now if I were to bring it back to the thinking aspect of it, or the aspect of describing the way we think, I want to be able to move around in my head. I want to be able to navigate, and I want to be able to remember. I want to be able to recall. I don't want to, walk into a room and I'm looking at everything and I see everything there. I know there's a lot going on, but I'm not able to locate anything. Okay, so that's the next question or point. The next question or point is, I think it's good to exercise authority over your thoughts. Well, what does that mean? What does it mean to me, at least? We exercise authority more than we realize that we do, because it is because of the authority that we exercise that we're in the position that we're in. Every individual, we're in the position that we're in because we establish a series of patterns. We establish a way to think. Because of our thought pattern, it basically brings us to where we are. Okay, we're a result of how we think. We are the result of how we think, pretty much. That's what it comes down to. We're a result of how we think, what we say, and the actions that we make, and everything. So I think that it's important to exercise authority over our thoughts. What does that mean to me? Well, I have an analogy. Most of us live in an apartment or house, and if you don't have one of your own, we're living with someone in a room within a house or a room within an apartment, so on and so forth. Well, most apartments have premises, I'll say, on the outside that has to be kept up. So you may have a janitorial staff that may keep the outside clean. Well, in the outside elements, wind blows, it rains, all those things. So somebody has to physically keep that up. Different elements are going to occur. Different things that we can't control are going to happen outside of a house and some apartments. The grass grows. Well, who's going to keep the grass up? Somebody has to take authority, grab the lawnmower, and they're deliberately keeping it in place. They're deliberately shaping it in a way to keep it in order, basically, just keeping it in order. And it's a deliberate managing of your surroundings, taking authority even in your inner area, the room that you live in. Take authority and clean it up on purpose. Take authority and manage it on purpose. Taking authority is deciding to do it, deciding to manage and keep something in order. I mean, maybe that's a way that I can explain what taking authority is as it relates to your thoughts. I had this thought.